Some might be shocked to find out that there are right and wrong ways to pray. As a matter of fact, Jesus not only teaches his disciples how to pray, but he also teaches them how not to pray. Prayer is the most common religious expression in America. While only 35% of Americans attended church service this past week, only 16% participated in a small group, but 3/4, 75% of Americans claim to have prayed to God in the last week. But are we doing it right? Is God listening to these prayers? What really counts when it comes to prayer? And why should we pray? I remember in college as a hall chaplain, I was doing rounds and knocking on doors and talking to residents, and I ended up having a conversation with a man who claimed to be Christian, and he said something along the lines of, "I don't believe in prayer." He said, "God already knows everything that I would say, and he knows everything that I need, so why should I waste my time talking to him?" So you see, there are a ton of misconceptions and a huge variety of perspectives when it comes to prayer. What we believe about prayer really does matter, because our beliefs about prayer will inevitably affect our prayer life. As we read the New Testament, we learn that Christians are called to labor in prayer. They're called to be devoted to prayer, to pray for one another. And we see that Christ prayed often, not just when he withdrew to lonely places, but also all throughout his ministry, all throughout his day-to-day activities. And so there are a ton of directions that we can go when it comes to prayer. There are lots of questions to ask and lots of questions to be answered. But for the sake of time, for the sake of our small group, let's simplify it. Let's focus on the obvious. Let's talk about what Pastor Corey talked about this past Sunday, and that is, what can we glean from Christ's teachings on the Lord's Prayer? How can we change our prayer lives as a result? What would it look like if the words in the Lord's Prayer were to be taken seriously? If it wasn't just lip service, but if we thought about everything that we were saying? If we took those words the same way that Christ took them when he prayed them? Let's take some time in our small groups and see what kind of new insights we can learn about this prayer. See what we can learn about ourselves and how we can change as a result. Let's talk.